Jim, you're not going to believe what I found. Another example. Maple on the front, on the title.
Yeah, it claims to have maple.
What's the ingredients?
Whole grain oats, sugar, salt, natural flavor. That's it.
No maple,
No
not
maple.
a single drop.
A company like this, using this prestigious word that has been established by the hard work of maple producers, like very hard work that they can't imagine, they're just living off of that word. That's what they do. That's what makes them a parasite. You and I, as maple producers, we have created the value that this word has. And they think nothing of stealing that value and putting it into a product like this, knowing that they're selling to a consumer that has no idea. They don't know that there's no maple in here. They don't stop and look. They wouldn't think to do so. They assume that it's authentic. That's a parasite. That's an organism living off of a host without contributing anything to that host. It's living off of it. If all those companies actually used maple sugar in their product, think of where the maple industry would be. That would be an enormous thing for us, for all of us. It's holding us back, yeah. As maple producers, it's holding us back. As equipment manufacturers, it's holding us back, yeah. That's a parasite. Looking in the back door of the maple industry, like we live every day as manufacturers, there's a completely different kind of parasite that we deal with too. It's everywhere.
So we as manufacturers have to deal with some parasites too.
Well, I got one good example of a parasite, an absolute parasite. So the story starts with an online purchase that comes in. Someone bought a StarCat arch only, which it's a little unusual, but not entirely. You know, it can happen. So we got that order. The next day, we shipped it. Cameron put his smiley face and note on the packing slip, shipped out the door. It arrived to the customer a couple days later in Michigan, and things are going as planned. Yep, everything's fine. Kind of forget about it. 2 weeks later,
I get a message from the website. Somebody, this Eli Donald is what the name said, wanted to return this arch.
To buy an evaporator and then want to return it. It's a very unusual thing, actually.
Yeah, it's not common. Usually these are well thought out and planned, and these are big purchases and big investments for a lot of people. And I reply back, for him to get back with us, and then I don't really hear back.
Yeah, you tried calling his phone number, right? And that you couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah, I left a voicemail because I wanted to have a chat to talk about why are we returning this arch, and I got nothing. This Eli Donald didn't really match some of the contact information on one end with the email versus the system, and so it started to kind of raise a red flag for me, like what's going on with this and why. And
then I kind of took it over, right? You sent me the information. I emailed because couldn't get a hold of him on the phone.
Right.
I emailed and what's going on, what's the problem, and the first reason that this Eli Donald wanted to return this arch was it was too small. Well, that's strange. Now, I mean, that's a little bit of a red flag because why did you buy it? If it's too small, why'd you buy it? And giving him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he bought this thing and then had access to more taps and he's looking for something bigger. Well, that's
happens once in a while, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah,
but it can.
So it's easily resolvable. Right. Let's talk on the phone. What size works for you? It happened to be at the time that we were going to Michigan the following week with our own truck. Doing a swap would have been easy. It would have cost him nothing.
Upgrade to like a Dauntless or something.
Yes, but he wasn't interested in that. And then all of a sudden the story changed. Now he wasn't looking to return it because it was too small, but because it was damaged. Now things are. Now we got red flags.
What's going on?
Yeah. But still, give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, shipping damage, that's even easier to resolve. We'll just send you new parts or whatever. Right. Send me pictures. So he just sent me a picture of the box. No, what parts are damaged? Send me pictures of the damaged parts.
Right.
So then you can see some very peculiar damage. Like the shipping damage is rare, but we know what it looks like, right? Like we know the vulnerable parts. It looked as though someone took a hammer and just, smashed some random dents in random places. And then I got that picture and it's like, all right, let's dig into this a little bit more.
Well, yeah, getting that picture was like pulling teeth. And then
Yeah, I couldn't get the guy to send pictures, you know.
And that's just part of our procedure to document as part of and any
to
of that.
continue service. You know, what parts does he need? So then I took all the information we had for this Eli Donald, and then it all made sense once I found out who Eli Donald was.
Yeah.
who was Eli Donald?
You ever been on Facebook and gotten spammed by that Bassett Maple products? What is that? What he called himself?
Yeah.
Reverse engineering.
Yeah. Not only copying and stealing our designs, but expecting me to pay for it. Shipping an evaporator both ways. After he took a hammer and beat the hell out of it to claim it was damaged in shipping. Well, I called him. I said, hey, is this Charlie? He said, yeah. I said, this is Jim Schumacher, Smoky Lake Maple Products. And I get the sense that he has watched enough of our videos to know my voice and the way I talk to trust full well it was me. And he just started hyperventilating, man. And I said, you enjoying your new StarCat? And again, just deep, like very erratic, uncontrolled breathing coming through the phone. And I said, you all right? And he couldn't utter a word, man. And I eventually had to hang up. I had to let him off the hook because...
Yeah, and that, obviously with that kind of reaction, right? What is that?
Yeah, well, you know, if that wasn't implied guilt,
Right.
But what was it? A couple hours later, he got himself together and called, right?
Right, called back and I handed you the phone. And
Yeah, Jimmy answered the phone, handed it to me. And like I thought to myself, maybe this will be an apology. Maybe this will be, you know, some semblance of remorse, you know. He called back. His only concern was keeping this quiet and keeping it from the consumer. He didn't care about his criminal activity. He didn't care about stealing our intellectual property. All he cared about was what he can do for me to keep this story quiet. Ooh. You know, and I think about how our business grew, and I'm really proud of our legacy of invention and development and like unique engineering, and I'm proud of what we've done for the industry. But what made us grow as rapidly and to the size we are was that integrity, like distancing ourselves from other equipment manufacturers' ideas, like distancing ourselves and growing by making innovative, groundbreaking ideas.
Right.
And with that, we were able to hire the most high quality people, which then grew the business. You know, you were a customer of mine for years before you worked here.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. And because the story of what this became was exciting, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Yes.
That story, that's what the story we're going to tell here.
But if you knew that I had gotten my business started by first stealing someone's idea, bolt by bolt idea, and then I tried scamming them out of the entire cost of it, I mean, you would have never joined.
No, and
you wouldn't have been my customer.
Well, and you got to think that, you know, some of the interactions, I walk in to see you, and then starting to see every year I would come back for supplies, I'd see more people here.
Yeah.
And good people. Right. You know, that wanted to do this and have very high standards for quality and for craftsmanship and for... And they
themselves are high quality people. They have integrity. I guess that's what nurtured our growth. I started the company by myself. My wife Angela joined shortly after. Would she have joined me if she saw me scamming people out of a product so I could copy it? Angela went to join my company. She would have kept her regular job. It was a good job. We hired Jeff and Jared and Steve. They've been with us since the start. They wouldn't have joined me. Right. They wouldn't have taken a chance on someone who just stole a product from someone so that they could copy it. Right. Jenny, she acts as owner now. She has for years. She could work anywhere at a high level.
Right.
She wouldn't have joined us if she knew that I got the company started by stealing a product so I could copy it.
Well, it's not like we're the first person he's stolen from. Right?
No, and it's not, and that's right. That's another good point. Right. You look at his bigger evaporators, the 2x3 or 2x4 or whatever it is, It's an exact copy of Bill Mason's evaporator.
Right.
Bill Mason is or was a manufacturer in Maine.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He had a somewhat unique looking evaporator.
2x4 or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get into whether it's a good design or bad design. That's irrelevant.
Right.
Charlie Bassett,
But it was
copied
his own. It was his
It
own.
was his own design.
Right.
It was unique enough to know when you looked at it, that's a Bill Mason evaporator. Until now it's either a Bill Mason evaporator or a Charlie Bassett evaporator because he copied the damn thing to a T.
Right.
You know, his first evaporators were built out of literal scrap metal, 50-gallon drums that he cut apart and cobbled some openings for a pan into. Even that wasn't his idea. That was an idea
Vermont.
for the Vermont the Vermont Evaporator Company out of some place in Vermont. He copied that from them. So from day one, everything he's done has been a copy. So you talk about a parasite, something that lives off of its host without contributing anything to that host. That's Charlie Bassett, because he has yet to contribute anything to the maple industry to move it forward. He has not improved on the evaporator, that's for sure. He's made a poor knockoff of evaporators since the first one he built. He hasn't even gotten into density testing. He has done nothing for this industry.
What goes into developing the StarCat, Jim? Like, why does this matter to the consumer? Like, what does it matter that he took the design?
So when the StarCat came to the market, there was no good solution for the hobby.
The small producer.
There wasn't. There was some outdated small evaporator designs that were so poorly made that they're not worth mentioning. The StarCat was the first evaporator to hit the market where it was accessible to people due to its affordability. It was high quality. It embraced a lot of the high efficiency design elements that we've proven in the Corsair over the years.
And brought that down to the most basic level starter. You know.
Airtight fronts, high efficiency airtight evaporators. So when we brought that to the industry, that wasn't easy. That took hard work. It took ingenuity. It took testing. So Charlie Bassett came along and he decided he's going to skip all that. I don't care about moving the industry forward. I just want to steal some of that, So where we lose is obvious. He literally stole from us. That's obvious. Look at where you as the consumer lose. Now the development of this technology is stunted because now we have a parasite. Now Smoky Lake has a parasite on us. Now the one thing that keeps us in business and developing is revenue, is selling our inventions. So we have a parasite now dipping into that without contributing anything to its host.
And what that does for us as a company is it allows us to bring new products, innovations, and continue to refine and add to what's already here. From the folks that started off with it, and then you get new ideas, and new ways to new products that come that solve problems.
That's exactly right. We as the maple specialists talk to tens of thousands of producers every year. We listen to their challenges and their needs, and we bring it home with inventions and innovations and improvements.
Right.
That's, again, I can't emphasize enough what a parasite does, not only to us, but to the consumer.
So you can't afford to be doing all of this development and innovation only to have it turn around and copied
and stolen.
By both.
Yeah. Right.
The
and
other people not doing any work.
That's right. That's right. That's the paramount problem at hand here. So Charlie Bassett, like I said, his biggest concern was keeping people from knowing about this. That makes me complicit, and I'm not willing to be complicit in theft and fraud.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and it's important that, how would you like to be a consumer that doesn't know about Charlie Bassett's criminal history? How would you like to be a consumer that then sends money to him?
To basically feel like you're just about, that you're contributing to that.
Yeah, and not only are you contributing to that, but a criminal has your money.
Someone with such low integrity.
I'm not willing to be complicit in that. So this is the story.
Yeah.
So how can we help maple producers? Let's say someone has already got an order with Charlie Bassett.
Yeah, well, chances are if you ordered something from Charlie Bassett, you're still waiting for it, right? If you have an order placed with Charlie Bassett, what does he call his company?
Bassett Maple. Maybe?
Bassett Maple something. Bassett Maple. You know who he is. He's spamming Facebook hard. If you have an order placed with Charlie Bassett, cancel it. Call your credit card if you have to. Get it canceled, and come to Smoky Lake, and we're going to give you 15% off
Just show us
your equipment.
Show us your cancellation.
Show us that cancellation. We'll hook you up with real equipment by the real manufacturer, by the real innovator, and we'll give you 15% off. Sorry you fell for a scammer.
All right. Well, let's despite all this, let's keep moving the industry forward.
Yeah.
That's important to us. And I hope everybody has a great maple season.
It's looking like it's going to be a good maple season.
Absolutely. Nice cold winter.
Nice cold winter. The maple season's going to come during the longest days possible. Man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I really am.
Things are going good here, despite this little shenanigans.
Yeah. I hate to take the time to even tell the story, but it's due. Yeah.
All right. This is what it boils down to. Thanks, guys.
This is what it boils down to.
This is what it boils down to.